Throughout history, people have always wondered, when will the world end? From ancient prophecies to modern predictions, humanity has been obsessed with doomsday. You probably remember the hype around 2012, the supposed end of the Mayan calendar. But guess what? We're still here. Before that, there were other failed predictions. And now, some say 2026 might be the final date. But why do these predictions keep coming? And why do they always fail? Remember 2012? The year the world was supposed to end, all based on the Mayan long count calendar. The internet ignited a wildfire of panic, while Hollywood blockbusters painted vivid pictures of global cataclysms, cementing the doomsday narrative in the public consciousness. The world held its breath as December 21st arrived, but nothing happened. The day came and went, and life continued unchanged. It was all a massive misunderstanding. The date simply marked the conclusion of a calendar cycle, a time for celebration and renewal, much like our New Year's Eve. It was the dawn of a new era, not the end of time. The fascination with doomsday didn't start or end with 2012. In fact, just over a decade earlier, the world braced for another technological apocalypse, the Y2K bug. As the clock ticked toward the year 2000, a global wave of anxiety swept across continents. The fear was rooted in a seemingly small detail. For decades, computer systems had recorded years using only 2 digits. The worry? When 99 flipped to 00, computers might read 1900, not 2000. That could break everything, starting with banking systems and even air traffic control. Media headlines painted a picture of chaos. People envisioned planes dropping from the sky power grids, shutting down financial markets collapsing. Emergency kits flew off store shelves, families prepared for the worst, stockpiling food and water. Governments worldwide, businesses worldwide launched a massive, multi-billion-dollar effort to update and fix code. When midnight arrived, the world held its breath. Instead of chaos, there was calm. Thanks to preparations, the Y2K bug fizzled out with barely a glitch. The world kept spinning and the lights stayed on. Y2K was far from the first time humanity stared down the end. Throughout history, failed predictions have left their mark, each one a reflection of our anxieties and fascination with the unknown. Nostradamus' warnings, religious movements, doomsday hopes. Every generation faced a countdown, and every time, the world carried on. But the 2012 phenomenon wasn't an isolated event, it was just the latest chapter in a long history of failed doomsday predictions. Humanity, it seems, has always been fascinated with its own demise. Take the turn of the millennium, for instance. The famous Y2K bug sparked a wave of genuine global panic. The fear was rooted in a simple programming shortcut. For decades, computers saved memory by recording years with only 2 digits. The concern was that when 99 rolled over to 00, systems would mistake the year 2000 for 1900, causing catastrophic failures in everything from banking to defense systems. Headlines screamed of planes falling from the sky and financial markets collapsing. People stockpiled food and water, preparing for a societal breakdown. Of course, when the clock struck midnight, the world kept spinning. The disaster was largely averted thanks to a massive, multi-billion-dollar global effort to update code. But the panic itself revealed just how fragile our trust in technology had become. Going even further back, we find figures like Nostradamus. This 16th century French astrologer has been a perennial source for doomsday theorists. His cryptic poetic quatrains are so vague they can be interpreted to fit almost any event. In the 1990s, a particular passage was widely cited as predicting the end of the world in July 1999, when a great king of terror would come from the sky. An entire industry of books and TV specials fueled the speculation. But when the date passed without incident, the interpreters simply moved on, finding new meanings in his ancient words. Once again, the world was safe. Yet, perhaps one of the most dramatic examples of apocalyptic fervor occurred in the 19th century with the Millerites. Led by preacher William Miller, thousands of followers became convinced, through his interpretation of biblical prophecy, that the world would end on October 22, 1844. Believers sold their homes, abandoned their farms, and gathered on hillsides, awaiting the second coming. When the sun rose on October 23rd, their profound hope turned to crushing despair in an event that became known as the Great Disappointment. From ancient prophets and religious leaders to modern astrologers and digital doomsayers, it seems every generation has its own countdown to oblivion. These predictions tap into our deepest anxieties about the future and our desire for meaning in a chaotic world. They offer a strange kind of comfort, the idea that there is a grand plan, even if it ends in catastrophe. Then came 2020. The pandemic shook the entire world, and once again, doomsday predictions surged. Some even claimed that the calculations for 2012 were actually wrong, and the real end date was 2020. The fear felt real. Lockdowns, rising death tolls, chaos, it did feel like the end of the world for many. But humanity survived once again, just as it always does. With past predictions faded, our fascination with doomsday finds a new focal point. From online forums and modern prophecies, a new date has emerged and gained traction: 2026. The narrative is a tapestry of our anxieties. Theorists claim this is the year everything ends, pointing to climate tipping points and AI singularity or global conflicts boiling over. And, as always, many turn to the past, reinterpreting ancient texts and claiming to have found hidden warnings that pinpoint 2026 as our final chapter. But let's be clear, there is no scientific evidence that the world will end in 2026. Science deals in data and probabilities, not predetermined dates from prophecy. Experts model potential scenarios. These are projections, not destiny. The scientific method opposes such fatalism. There is no credible study or expert consensus pointing to a cataclysm on this date. It's a conclusion born from fear, not fact. This isn't to say the underlying fears are baseless. Our planet faces real, urgent challenges. Rising sea levels, extreme weather, and global tensions are measurable realities, but it's crucial to distinguish between these ongoing processes and a singular doomsday event. These critical issues are serious trends, but they are not countdown timers to a specific end date. They're warnings for us to act, not signs of a magical, unavoidable end. These challenges are a call to our collective ingenuity and resilience. The future isn't a pre-written script, it's a story we write every day through our choices. The real question isn't whether the world will end in 2026, but what we will do right now to build a more sustainable and peaceful one. Our focus shouldn't be on a date, but on our actions today. But what drives us to keep inventing new doomsday dates, even as past predictions fade away? The answer lies deep within human psychology. We're wired to seek patterns and meaning, especially in times of uncertainty or change. When the world feels unpredictable, rapid technological advances, climate anxiety, social upheaval, our minds instinctively search for explanations, even if they're dramatic or far-fetched. Psychologists suggest that imagining an end date provides a sense of control. If we know when the end is coming, we can prepare or at least brace ourselves for it. This desire for certainty often outweighs our need for accuracy. It's comforting, in a strange way, to believe there's a plan even if it's a catastrophic one. Media, social networks, pop culture amplify these fears, turning fringe ideas into viral trends. Prophets, cult leaders, influencers find eager audiences, selling books, selling movies, selling survival kits. For them, the apocalypse is a business opportunity. Ultimately, doomsday predictions are less about the world ending, and more about our struggle to understand and cope with the unknown. These stories reflect our deepest fears, and sometimes our hopes for a new beginning. So why do we keep hearing these predictions? Psychologists say humans are fascinated by the idea of the end because it gives meaning to life's uncertainty. Prophets, cults, and even filmmakers capitalize on this fear. After all, fear sells, and the end of the world is the ultimate fear. The truth is, the world hasn't ended in 2012, 2020, or any other predicted date. And it's not likely to end in 2026 either. Instead of fearing the end, maybe we should focus on living better lives right now. After all, the real danger isn't some predicted doomsday. It's forgetting to make the most of the time we have. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating journey through the history of doomsday predictions. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep exploring the mysteries of our world with us, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Your support helps us bring you more curious content every week. Remember, every day is a new beginning. See you in the next video.